Good morning, class 10. My topic today is agriculture, and I'm going to deal with the food crops in agriculture. Okay. Now, in the previous classes, I think when I started with the agriculture, we discussed the importance of agriculture. We discussed the importance of different types of agriculture that has been practiced in India. Okay. Then I think we discussed about the factors, okay, institutional factors, economic factors and all that. Now I'm coming to the second part of agriculture. Now as I've already told you this, I've already mentioned this to you, that agriculture has been divided into 4 or 5 topics. Okay, now all these topics that is under agriculture, you have to study everything if you want to attempt a question from agriculture chapters. It's not that the agriculture 1 you'll get one set of question, agriculture 2 you'll get another set of question. No, all chapters, there are 4 to 5 chapters in agriculture, and all these chapters you have to study to attempt one set of question in your ICSE. Okay, it's just been further divided and into different chapters only. Okay, otherwise it's just one chapter itself only. Okay, now we are going to start with the second topic on agriculture, and that's the food crops. Okay, now again I'm going to go according to the reduced syllabus. Okay, now so if you have your textbooks, now please underline and write important to only those topics which I am discussing, which I am explaining it to you all. Okay, so these are only important. Now starting with the food crops, the second part of agriculture, food crops. Now first important thing that you have to remember, which is also a part of agriculture's characteristic feature. We can also say this term that I'm explaining it to you is, characteristic feature of Indian agriculture. The first thing that you have to remember is that Indian agriculture has been divided into 3 agricultural seasons. Okay, now the first one is the Kharif season. Now when you're just supposing, if a question says name the agricultural seasons in India, if you write Kharif, Rabi and Zaid, you will not get full marks. Kharif, Rabi and Zaid are the agricultural seasons, but you have to mention also now whether it's a summer crop, whether it's a winter crop, when the fields are being prepared, okay, when the crops are being grown and when it's been harvested. All these things has to be written. Okay, so the first thing is Kharif. Okay, now Kharif, as you know, is a summer crop. Okay, and it's closely associated with the southwest monsoons. Okay, so when you have the arrival of the southwest monsoons, that is in the month of June, July, the sowing period starts then. Okay, and it's harvested in September, October, and the most important crops that has been grown out here is rice, jowar, bajra, sugarcane and all, which requires plenty of water. That's the summer crop. Then you come to Rabi. Rabi is a winter crop. Okay, now this is a crop which is sown during the winter's onset of this retreating monsoon, that is in October, November. Okay, and harvesting has been done in March and April, and mostly in the Rabi seasons you'll find crops like wheat is being grown, barley is being grown, and oil seeds like linseed, rapeseed and gram, mustard, rye. Okay, these crops are being grown. Okay, now besides this Kharif and Rabi, you have another season called the Zaid season, or Zaid, Z-A-I-D or Z-A-Y-A-D, is in between the Kharif and the Rabi. And you have a combination of crops that is being grown during the summers and during the winters. But if you see it, the most important crop again out here that has been grown, again it is rice. Okay, and you'll also have maize and watermelons and cucumbers and all that is being grown in this season. Okay, now these are the 3 important things that you have to remember. Okay, then you come to the next one. First important thing that you have to know is the term cereal. Okay, now wheat, rice, jowar, all these comes under cereals. Okay, so what is a cereal? Okay, so the cereal, now underline this, denotes all kinds of grass-like plants which have starchy edible seeds. Okay, like rice, wheat, maize, barley, rye, all these are cereals. But the definition of a cereal, edible starchy edible seeds, which grows in a grass like a plant, is called cereals. Okay, underline that. Now, when you're talking about the cereals, the most important is rice. Okay, now rice is one of the most important crop that is being grown in India. Okay, it's a staple diet of the Indians. The production of rice in India is very high. What makes the production high is because the demand is also very, very high. Half the population, more than half the population of a country, the staple diet is rice. Okay. Then you have to remember that like when you're talking about rice, you have to just remember one thing. Like if you see the consumption of rice in India, okay, you'll find that most people living in the northeastern regions of our country and the southern regions of our country, the main diet of the people is rice. It's a staple food. Okay, they can have rice even twice or thrice in a day. Okay, whereas the people living in the western and the northern part of India, rice is also, they do take rice also, but the staple diet for those people is wheat. But having said that, they consume rice also. Okay, so this is how rice is so important in our country. Okay, and India is the second largest producer of rice after China. Okay, and rice is one crop that has been grown in all parts of our country, whether it's a highland, whether it's a lowland, whether it's a coastal areas. Okay, rice has been grown in India in all these places because this is a crop that is grown at different altitude. As long as there is a supply of water, as long as the soils that has been required, alluvial soil that has been required for its growth has been available, it can be grown in different parts of our country. But there are two important states in our country where rice is being grown in plenty. One is West Bengal and the other one is Tamil Nadu. Okay, now West Bengal is one state where rice is being grown 3 times in a year, and Tamil Nadu is another state in South India where rice is being grown 3 times in a year. Okay. So now what is important out here is the climatic conditions are very important. You will get climatic conditions that has been required for the growth of any agricultural crop. Okay. Now again out here you have to be very careful. Now when they might ask you climatic requirements or geographical requirements. Now if a climatic requirement has been asked for rice or for wheat or for rubber, whatever, okay, whichever crop is it, like if a climatic requirement has been asked, then you just have to mention about the temperature and the rainfall only. But if they ask you, write down the geographical conditions that has been required for the growth of rice, then in that case it is not only the temperature, it is not only the rainfall that you have to mention, but you need to write about the soil also. Okay, that's the difference between geographical and climatic conditions. Okay, so now you know Kharif, rice is a crop that has been grown during the Kharif season. Okay, and the climatic condition that has been required, the temperature is around 16 to 20 at the time of flowering. But actually the exact, you don't have to write, you don't have to remember from 16 to 20 for flowering and all that, but just remember 18 degrees to 32 degrees Celsius is the time that has been required for the growth of rice. Any figure in between 18 to 32, wherever the temperature ranges from 18 degrees to 32 degrees Celsius, rice can be grown in this area. Okay, and another important thing that you have to remember is that it can be grown at an altitude of 2000 meters above the sea level in some areas of Jammu and Kashmir, as well as in the lowlands very close to the coastal areas in states like Kerala and other states, coastal areas. Okay. Another important thing that you have to remember is that, as I've already mentioned, rice is a water-loving plant. It grows or survives well in an area where the fields have been flooded with water. From the time the crops has been sown till the time before it's been harvested, the field has to be flooded with water. Okay, that's the requirement. Okay, therefore you will find most of the rice being growing in an area where the rainfall is more than 150 centimeters. Okay, and in the deltaic regions or in an estuaries or in the floodplains where the plenty of water is been present. Okay, so there is an upland rice and the lowland rice. Upland rice outer means rice which is growing in the higher altitudes. Lowland rice means the rice growing in the lowlands. Okay, at least one or two differences out here. Okay, upland rice mostly grows in the mountainous regions. It has been sown in March, April and harvested in September, October. Okay, and it depends on the distribution of the rainfall, and whatever crop that has been grown, it's entirely consumed by the local people that has been living in that area. Whereas the lowland rice is being grown in the low-lying areas, sown in the month of June and harvested in October. Okay, and this crop requires plenty of water, okay, at the time of sowing as well as before it has been harvested. And most of the rice that is being grown over there is for consumption by the people. Okay, then another important thing that you have to remember is that it grows well in a fertile clay or a loamy soil. Underline that. Okay, that much is more than enough, or you can say it grows well in alluvial soils. Then you come to different methods of cultivation. Out here I will not go in detail about the methods, I just mention about these methods. Like one is broadcasting methods, okay, where the seeds have just been thrown. That is, they take farmers plow the field, okay, then the field has been flooded with water and all that, and then they just take a handful of seeds and they just sprinkle it. That is called a broadcasting method. But broadcasting method has become outdated now. The reason behind is because whatever amount of seed that has been scattered, it's been thrown, you'll not have the germination of all these seeds, because there are plenty of people in the field at that time where the seeds are being sown, okay, where the seeds are being broadcasted, and trampling by the people and trampling by the animals takes place and does not allow the seeds to germinate, so it's become outdated. Then there's another method called a drilling method. Okay, now drilling method, what they do is when they plow the field, a furrow has been made, okay, and in that furrow, at equal interval, the seeds are being thrown with the dropped with the hands. Okay, so this has also been there, but in most of the areas in our country, again, people have stopped practicing this method because it's time consuming. But now commonly practiced is the dibbling method. Now dibbling method is a little modified method of a drilling method. Now what happens in a dibbling method is now the fields are being plowed. Okay, plowing is there. Now when the animals move, you have the plow digging the earth. So in that plow at the back, a bamboo shaft has been attached. A bamboo has been attached with the opening on top as well as the opening down below. And once the animal moves and the furrow has been made, okay, from that bamboo shaft, the seeds have been dropped by hand at equal distance. Okay, this is called a dibbling method, a little modified method of a drilling method. Now what happens in a drilling method, sometimes the seeds may not be dropped at the straight line, but in dibbling methods it's straight. Okay, and commonly practiced in India is the transplanting method. Now transplanting method is the method which has been commonly seen in this area also, where the first they take a nursery, okay, a nursery bed, they sow the seeds which has been flooded with water. They sow the seeds, and when the seeds germinates and becomes around 15 to 20 centimeters tall, they uproot it, tie it in a bundle, okay, and at the same time, the other fields where the plantation is taking places, they prepare the fields by flooding the fields with water and leveling the land and all that, so that field is being prepared. So at the time the sowing begins, when you have the monsoons starting during the month of June, July, when the monsoon really begins, at that time, those bundles that has been made is being taken by the people to the real plantation fields and then sown in a straight line. And when they sow it, it's not only one single plant that is being sown, but 2-3 plants are being sown at one time, and they are always grown in a straight line. One of the characteristic feature of a plantation farming, just remember that it always has to be in a straight line. Okay. Advantages been given in your textbook. Only the healthy plants are being picked for resowing. That means once the seeds are being scattered and the plants grows, and before they bring that plant to the real planting field, they make sure that only the healthy plants have been shifted. Weeding has been removed, because when a rice plant is being grown, okay, the rice plant and unwanted grass looks the same. Okay, so when this resowing is being done, when the weeds are being removed, okay, that has been done, and there is no wastage of seeds like you have it in a broadcasting method, and it also gives a higher yield. Okay, then there's another method called a Japanese method of rice cultivation. Now, this Japanese method of rice cultivation is not a very common practice in India, because the Indian farmers cannot afford to spend a huge amount of money. Okay, so it's not a very, very common factor out here. Okay, it's a very common factor in countries like Japan and all that, okay, where they are using high yielding variety seeds. But to a certain extent, India has also been able to practice, because they are making use of the high yielding variety seeds, and irrigational facilities are being provided and all that. So in that way, they are trying to increase their production. Okay, so this method they use a high yielding variety seeds called Japonica. Okay, and it includes the following practices given in the textbook itself only. As in the previous method, the seedlings are prepared in the nurseries, same way. The rows of plants have been fixed at a distance of 25 centimeters. Okay, manure is being used extensively. Okay, and the Japonica seeds give you a higher yield in this method. Okay, so these are the method that different methods that is being used for growing of rice. Now you come to distribution. Okay, now India contributes around 22% of the rice production. As I've already mentioned this to you, rice has been grown in different parts of our country. It can be grown in a higher altitude region also. It can be grown in the lower altitude areas, okay, in coastal areas, especially in Kerala, states like Kerala and the coastal regions and all. Plenty of rice production has been there. Okay, but there are certain states where the production is very, very high, and the two important states where production of rice is very high is, one is West Bengal and the other one is Tamil Nadu. Followed by this state, you have Uttar Pradesh also, Andhra Pradesh also, Punjab and other states also. But the most important production is taking place in West Bengal. So, as follow the text, rice is the leading crop of West Bengal, occupying around 3/4 of the total cropped areas. And you should remember that rice in West Bengal is being grown 3 times in a year. Okay, and it's called As, Aman and Boro. These are the 3 agricultural crops of rice that is being grown, okay, in 3 times in a year, and they have been also termed as Os, Aman and Boro. Okay, another important states where rice is equally important and is being grown is in Tamil Nadu. Okay, where 75% of its production is been there. Okay, and the most important areas in Tamil Nadu is Madurai, okay, and Tanjavur. Okay, you can underline these 2 areas. Okay, and then Punjab is also there, where the rice production is high, and the credit for increase in the rice production in Punjab goes to the measures that has been adopted in the Green Revolution, where they use high yielding variety seeds, fertilizers, farm mechanization is taking places. Okay, almost the same factor goes to Uttar Pradesh also. So these are the important states where rice is being grown in India. So today I'm just going to do rice with you all. Okay, in the next class I'm going to start with wheat and another crop. Thank you.